paradigm is in control of you. Don't think it's not. It is. It is in control of you. It's a demon inside of you. And it talks to you. And it tells you, don't do that. You crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. And it's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Your paradigm is in control. It's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. A little particle of energy from mom, a little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where'd their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad, where did they go from their mothers and their dads? God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back for God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. This is all programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real, and you're not going to get it in school. Because the teachers don't know it. Look at it. This is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Both companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. You got to be willing and you got to be able.
Hi, I'm back. And you're back too. This is so good. So great that you're back. Welcome back. I did attempt to get this bloody chat going again today, but it didn't work. So I have got it right here. I want to know, what was your biggest takeaway from yesterday for yourself? What was your takeaway? Do you have a different sense of awareness for yourself? What is it that you realized yesterday? Because I'm hoping that each day you have a realization. There's one thing that you go, oh my Lord, if only I had have known that 20 years ago. You know, I worked with a lady, it would have been maybe 6 years ago now. We are still such great friends. Most of my clients, I'm still great friends, I should say. Yeah, well, there's some that didn't really do the work, so they blamed me for their results. And, you know, I can understand that, because I used to blame everything on the outside for the results that I was getting. It was never my fault. It was everything else on the outside. And it kept me stuck for a very long time. Not taking responsibility. Not even knowing that it was my responsibility to take responsibility for it. That was the thing. So if I got a few speeding fines for a little while there, and bloody coppers, haven't they got something better to do? Not, okay, I was in the wrong. I take it on the chin. Like, there was so many things that I was not taking responsibility for. And then also things that I was taking responsibility for that were not mine. So If somebody said to me, you made me feel this, that was on me. I'd take that on, and I would shrink myself down a bit. If I don't know, there was lots of moments, and I'm sure you've all heard somebody say, you make me feel this, or you made me think this, or you made me that. I took that all on, and I let it shape the person that I had become. So I was this person that was confined to this tiny little mouse. It wasn't who I am now. It took a bit of time for me to get where I am now. It took years of progress and trying things, and that didn't really work, and let's go again. But the thing is, you just can't give up. You cannot give up on the life that you want to live. You're here today because there's something in your life that is not working for you. For the way that you want to live your life, it's not in harmony. You're like, I didn't think that this was going to be my life when I was 5 or 6, because I had these great dreams. One of the things that I was brought up with was children should be seen and not heard. So I can find who I was. Hey, Heidi. I can find who I was so that I would fit into the guidelines that were told to me from my parents, from school, from my friends, from aunties, uncles, sisters, brothers, whatever else, whatever was around there. I became the person I thought they wanted me to be so that they would like me. That was my biggest thing. I just wanted people to like me. And I think that's something that's wrong with society. I've got 4 sisters. We were compared to each other. We competed against each other. And we were sort of pitted, why can't you be more like this one? And then if I did something wrong, the other sisters were, well, why can't you be more like Paula? She's the quiet one. So I was the quiet one. I sort of flew under the radar a little bit and sort of thought, well, this is the way to fit in. But I wasn't happy. So then when, of course, I got married, not of course, well, I did everything else about. Okay, so I had children, then we got married, and I thought you had to be a certain way. Like, I watched my parents have relationships, and I thought that what you did with girlfriends was sit around and bitch about other people. I did that for years. Sat around and we'd sit around drinking, or we'd go to a club and have lunch, or we'd go somewhere and we would just bitch about other people. And then if one of them wasn't there, we'd probably bitch about them. And then I used to think, I wonder what they say about me when I'm not there. So then you have self-doubt, because these people didn't understand that if you go after goals and you just focus on where you're going and support the people around you to go after theirs, there's no room for that. So today we have a bit of a different spin on things today. But first of all, I just want you to go back to your goal. I want you just to read it out loud to yourself at some point today and ask yourself, does this really signify who I want to become? Because you're going to have to become a different person. I'm hoping that your goal is not an A or a B type goal, because A or B type goals do not demand change from you. You don't have to change anything. A C type goal does. Now, it's not that it has to be huge, like so out of the box that you cannot even believe it, because that's not going to happen for you either. But it has to spark joy for you and excitement, but also scare you a bit as well, because you've got this thing called an ego that doesn't like to change. It likes to stay the same, and it will do whatever it can to keep you staying the same. And it comes out of other people too as soon as you start to change, because when you start to change, you automatically force other people to change, and people don't like change unless it's their decision. So if you change, people are like, who is that person? Who is she or who is he? And how do I interact with them? Because I'm here, they're there. I don't know how to interact with them anymore. Like, they're not bitching anymore about people. So what do we talk about? And if they don't do this anymore, how do I interact with them? You know, the first few months that I started this work, I didn't really leave the house because I didn't have skills of what to do in these situations. Like, okay, if I didn't bitch about somebody, what the hell would we talk about? If I wasn't looking at somebody and judging them and saying it out loud, what did I say? And I had a few people call me out, like, should you really be saying that as a coach, Polly? And I'm like, yeah, well, but I don't have any other habits. These are the habits that I have. And I was like, okay, so I've got to really think about this. What will the habits be of me being this person that gets this goal? So I have a couple of questions for you here just to see if you're in the right place, because, you know, only 3% of people get their goals. That's not many. You think about it, 3 out of 100 will get their goal. Most people don't even write them down. They don't clarify exactly what they want. They're like, oh, this would be nice, or that'd be cool. Probably never happened to me though. And they let the circumstances talk them out of it. So I'm just going to ask you some questions. Now, these questions are in your workbook, but I'm just going to ask you this. Do you compare yourself with others? Yeah? I was shocking at that. It was really bad. I'd compare myself to my sisters. I'd compare myself to people on television, in magazines. And, you know, this was back in a day where maybe airbrushing had started, or maybe wasn't a thing. But yeah, if I had a bit of weight on, like, I remember my mum coming to me when I was 16 and said, oh, Paulie, you keep doing that, people are going to think you're pregnant. And what are they going to be thinking about that then, hey? Like, what are you going to do about that when people think you're pregnant? But goodness me. So there was, like, we had been conditioned to that if you put on any weight, that there's something wrong with you, that you are supposed to be this thin person. Like, this has taken me years to be able to be okay. Like, it's okay if you put on a bit of weight, and it's okay to lose it. It's okay to be whatever. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that you can have what it is that you want? And I want you to think about this. A lot of people think they need a whole lot more money than they really need. But do you believe you can have what you want? Do you believe that you can change? I'm afraid of rejection of others. You know, that's one of the biggest things that stops people from changing. And I remember when I first started coaching people, and I had to do a live. That was the whole thing, hey? Like, if you want to people to know what you're doing, Polly, do a live. And I had this sort of coach in Facebook. So, and they said, now just go on there and talk and tell people what it is that you're doing. And I was so afraid, like, what would they say about me? What would people do? So I did this. I couldn't do a live, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't do a live. I did a recording, and it took me 3 attempts. The third attempt, it was like, no, I'm done with this. We're not going to spend all day on this. We're just going to get it done. So I recorded it and I put it up, and, you know, I had like 996 friends or something like that. Within 2 hours, like 992 had watched it, and I was just like, oh my God, what are they all saying about me? And it was quite interesting that some people ridiculed me. Other people were proud. Some people said, oh my God, Polly, you're inspiring me. Everybody has their own opinion. That doesn't make it you. That doesn't mean you have to take it on. My second live that I did, I got a text from my friend, a good friend at that time, by mistake. She was texting somebody else and says, oh my God, she's live again. And all these angry faces. Like, I was like, that had an emotional impact on me. I was just like, what? But we're so afraid of what other people think. And remember what I said yesterday. 95% of people would rather die than think. All they're doing is regurgitating what they've heard. That's it. They're not originating thought. Only 2% of people do that. So if you have trouble concentrating, but maybe your mind just keeps going elsewhere. There's too much for you to think about, or you're worried too much about what could go wrong. You play that what if game sometimes. Now, I know there's a few coaches in this training this time round. I'm afraid to sell. Now, I want to be honest here. The only times that I'm afraid to sell is when I'm not really living what I teach. When I'm stuck in a little procrastination cycle, or I'm stuck in some place where I'm afraid that people could call me out. So ask yourself, are you in that place? Now, I want you all to know, it's not just coaches that are selling. We're all selling. You're selling your partner to believe in you, maybe to back you as you go into a business. You're selling your children on ideas. You're selling the people that work with you on maybe excuses on why you can't do certain things. Just think about it. You're always selling something, and you're buying into something. If you're not selling, you're buying into somebody else's excuses. So have a think about that. Are you afraid to sell? And it always comes back to, well, in my experience, it always comes back to, am I living what I'm trying to sell? Like, am I telling my kids, don't speed, stay in the speed limit, and here I am getting speeding fines? Like, there's that double binding message there, which we'll go through shortly too. I don't feel like a great leader. And that comes back to too, I think, when you're not living the principles or the personal standards that you're trying to get other people to believe about you. I'm afraid of making mistakes. How many times did we get in trouble or get grounded because we made mistakes? So of course you're going to be afraid of making mistakes. What if every mistake was just getting you closer and closer to the way that you really want to live, your true goal? I'll put everything off until later. That'll be a fear thing as well. Procrastination is based on fear. You're making up a story. It's probably not true. Probably hasn't even happened yet. 92% of worries haven't happened yet. Only 8% are real. I don't trust my decisions. Do you make decisions quickly and then only change them really infrequently, very, very slowly? Or do you make decisions and flip on them straight away? Do you make decisions based on cost? That's one thing I will never ever do. I never ever ask somebody what the price is until I've made my decision. I'm going to go, okay, all right, I'm going to get that. How much? And they'll say, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I will work it out somehow because I want it. So I don't let prices of things stop me from having it. And it may mean that there could be a little delay in me doing it, but I never let the price stop me. Now, a lot of you will be saying, oh, it's all right for you and blah, blah, blah. Hey, I didn't come from with a silver spoon in my mouth. But I don't believe that money only comes from a job or a business. Money comes where it's wanted, or goes where it's wanted, and stays where it's appreciated and put to good use. And we'll talk about more of that on Friday as well. I have a problem with procrastination. Yep, and it's probably going to be based on fear. Fear always leads to procrastination. What have you got to fear, really? And I'm worried about the opinions of others. Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. Doesn't mean it's got to stop you. So this is where too, you've got to have a really big emotional connection to your goal, because otherwise fear is a strong emotion. So fear and faith, and we talk about this tomorrow, but fear is an emotion and it lives in your subconscious mind. So is faith. Now, either one is going to produce your results, whichever one you stay most connected to. So I would be saying find faith. And it's not faith in anything, it's faith in the way that the universe works. There is laws that govern this universe. If I drop this pen, will it fly? No, you know it's going to fall on my desk. I dented my desk the last time I did it, so I'm not going to do it. But if I drop this pen, it's going to go down. Why? Because there's a law of gravity. There's also a law of lift. Otherwise, things wouldn't get off the ground. There is a law of attraction in this world. You attract whatever you think about most. So this is why I got you to write out your goal cards. If you think about this the most, rather than what's going on around you and the circumstances, guess what? It's going to have more of a chance to come true than your circumstances are of derailing you. Because circumstances, now write this down if you don't take anything else on. My circumstances are the result of my past thinking. My circumstances are the result of my past thinking. If I don't like my results, I should change how I think. That's it. Like it's so simple. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about our subconscious mind and our mind and how everything just works together. This is what I love today for this lesson. Now you've got this little picture, and I know you're thinking, oh my God, Polly, that is such a great stick person drawing. I cannot wait to draw this, and it's so cool. I know you're thinking that, but you're probably thinking this is too simple. Is she for real? I'll be honest here. You're probably thinking, my God, is this what we signed up for? Like a stick person drawing? I'm going to teach you about this. So I want you to find this in your workbook, because this is what your homework is. Your homework, you're taking action, like not just working through your workbook, but this is your action taking homework, so that I send you a prize, is to understand what I teach today and draw your own. Draw what's going on for you. I'm going to go through it in a moment. Now, also what you have is an emotional guidance scale. You've got this in the portal, and it came open for you today. I know because I printed it from the portal, so I didn't have it already. I went into the portal and found it. So it's just in there under today's stuff. I want you to grab it, and maybe, I know some people have laminated it, but if you keep this with you for the rest of your life, it will really do you some justice. It will really help you. But first of all, let's go into this stick person. Now, I'm really tricky. I'm pretty cool, actually. I am going to, now hang on a moment. I am going to draw. See, look at this. I'm really good at this. Had a little bit of practice. Now, I want you to remember that too. The only way that we make lasting change and create habits is through repetition. You did not learn to drive your car just by the first time that you drove it. It probably took a few times. You think about it. You hopped in, and maybe first of all you sat there and you watched your parents, and you're like, I wonder how they make that indicator, that blinker work on the side there. I wonder how they change gears. I wonder how this happens. You know, I've got a car that has the indicator and stuff on the left, and I had my niece in the car last night. She's like, "Hey, Paul, is your indicator on the other side?" I'm like, yeah, it's like a European car, so it's on the other side. Oh, how does that go? And I said, oh, sometimes the windscreen wipers come on. Depends on if I've driven another car recently or not, but yeah, sometimes I turn the windscreen wipers on instead of that, and sometimes I hop in another car and turn the windscreen wipers on instead of the indicator. It's okay though. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's through repetition. And it took consciousness to learn to drive. You think about it, especially if you learned with a manual, it's like put it in gear with the clutch on and the brake on, take it out of gear, like put your foot on the accelerator, take your foot off the clutch and go forward. And if you have to indicate, you have to do that. And then you have to brake and put your foot on the clutch again and change gears and all of that. It took a lot of consciousness. And remember what I talked about yesterday about conscious competence. You went from a stage of not knowing how to drive, just oblivious, just getting driven everywhere, and then one day you thought, oh, I'm gonna see how this stuff works, and you ask a few questions, and you get a bit of, you become conscious, but you're incompetent. You can't drive the car yet. You just got a bit of an awareness of how it happens, and then you hop in, and you have to be really conscious to make it work. And then after a while, you can listen to music and maybe talk on the phone. You shouldn't do that, but I see a lot of people do it. And you can have a conversation, like when you first, or if you're driving in the city, like, everybody shut up, turn the music down so I can concentrate, so you can be more conscious. That's what happens in my mind. I don't know if you're the same, but it's like, I think we're pretty much all the same. So let's play around with this stick person. But before we do that, I want you to think about this. There are levels of frequency in the world. Now, if you want to just go really simple, you think about a radio sends out a frequency. A radio station sends out a frequency. And if you have a radio or an aerial or something, like something that can pick up that frequency, you can hear the music. So, but like if this is an FM, you can't hear what's on that music if you've got your radio tuned into the AM. Does that make sense? So you've got to be tuned in to the right frequency to be able to hear what's on those channels. Come on, Polly. So we all live, like, we're all vibrating. So these can be levels of frequency, they can be levels of vibration, whatever you want to call them. But every single thing is vibrating. This desk is vibrating, you are vibrating, humans vibrate at a very high level of frequency. That cup is vibrating, water is vibrating. Water, you think about water. You have water that is just there. At room temperature, it's water. You heat it up, turns to steam, and then it goes up into the clouds. Like, this is how we get rain, goes up into the clouds, and then it comes back down as rain. You can freeze it. All of those is a change in the level of the frequency. That's all it is. So I want you to think about you now. This is probably, and this is not good or bad, just this is where you're living right now. You're living on this level of frequency. If you chose an A goal, it'll be on the same level of frequency that you're on. There'll be no growth attached. You wouldn't have to change. Nothing would have to change. A B-type goal could be just a little bit of growth. Maybe you just have to maybe think about life a little bit differently, or change what time you get out of bed, and that'd be pretty much it, sort of thing. Not a huge growth. Your C-type goal should be something that there's a few levels of frequency that you have to grow through. So you can look at these as rungs on the ladder that you have to go up and grow. You've got to learn to be something different, somebody different. You've got to learn to do things differently. You've got to wake up and do things like you haven't done before to be able to reach it. That's what you should be setting, C-type goal. And I want you to think that it takes no more effort to go to this C than to that C. All it is that you have to match the level of vibration. So you have to come up here and live on this level so that it can come towards you and you can go towards it. And then your results will meet in the middle. This is what we call the law of attraction. You turn into the person that already has the goal. This is why we write it in past or present tense, so that you are already that person. You start seeing yourself as that. You start turning up as that. And you cannot not get what's on that level of frequency. But if you just stay down here and just I'll just think about this goal and not change anything that you do, that is a K, and remain down here, all you can get is what's on this level. That's all you can get. Does this make sense? You will work out the how along the way. Yes, you will, Adrian. Don't worry about, like, the only thing that is real is what we believe to be real. You can change your beliefs into anything. So now we understand the levels of frequency. Now the other thing I want you to think about, each one of these in the emotional guidance scale is a level of frequency too. So passion is a level of frequency, so is jealousy, hatred, revenge. Like, they're all levels. And if you're living in a state, now I've got family that live in a state of anger, revenge, blame, and they just live in that little range down there. And look, I'll be honest, I just visited my mum the other week, and she said some not nice things about me, and I said, Mum, what makes you say that? What makes you say that I'm stuck up, or I'm whatever it is that she said to me? And she says, well, you make me feel inadequate. And I said, well, I'll tell you now, I don't make you feel anything. You do all that on your own. She says, no, you've always made me feel inadequate for the last 30 years. And I thought, well, okay, I'm 50 now. Righto. I said, so is that working? Like, does it make you feel good to think those thoughts about me? She's like, no. And I said, do you understand that that's what creates your actions? Oh, Paula, for goodness sake, let's not go down that path again. So I just have to leave that sort of stuff there. But, you know, I'm sure all of you are going through something like that. There'll be something that you're going through where people are blaming you for how they feel. Don't take that on. It is not on you. And just as what you feel because of other people is not on them, it's all on you. So when we take responsibility, though, then we can change. Nobody has the power to make you feel anything. So I'm just going to give you a background sort of thing here. So this is this little stick person, right? And these little antennae on the top there are your senses. See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Now, they're hooked up to the outside world. And if you looked at your results, and yous have all done this, we've all been there, we look at our results and we don't like them. We see them, we can hear them, we can smell them, taste them, touch them, whatever. It brings in the data. What most people do is that they look at the results, they think about the results, they get emotionally involved with the results. The vibration of their body is at a certain level of frequency. They take action and they get the same result. And then they look at that result and they think about that and they feel that and they take action and they keep getting the same result. So sorry, that should go there. And around and around and around in a circle we go. Over and over and over again. And this can be somebody's life for 70 odd years, 90 even. I had a chat with somebody the other day and it was 94 years that they'd been stuck in a loop. Isn't it time we broke free of that? So let's just break this down. This is your mind. Now, when I look at this, I see this as my head. And when I cut it in half, top is conscious. Oh, I'm doing well. Bottom, subconscious. Now, we could be here for a bit more than an hour today, so if you have to go, that is fine. You can come back, and in the portal will be the replay, and you can watch it again. And I would suggest you watch this for a few times. This little bugger is our body, the rest of everything from our head down. Now, why is it smaller? Because your body takes action on whatever you feel. So we're not going to worry about the senses anymore because I've shown you how that works. I want you to think about, there's this power or this energy that comes into us. When that energy leaves, that's when our body dies. But and they've weighed it. It's like 27 grams between life and death. So it's an energy field. And you know what? It just is. It's not positive and it's not negative. It's just neutral. It is clean energy. You give it direction by how and what you think about. So, you created a goal yesterday. Or maybe it was today. Doesn't matter. You created a goal. Now you have the ability to think about that goal, to implant it into your subconscious mind so that it changes the vibration of your body, that you take new actions and you get the result of your goal. Now, if you were in complete harmony, this would be pretty quick and you would get your results pretty quickly. Now, I ran a mind shift event in Townsville, and one of my clients set themselves a 2-week goal from start to finish. I'm going to get this in 2 weeks. They hit it in 3 days because they learnt how to align what they think about, how they feel, their actions to get the result that they want. That's how fast you can make these things happen. Don't go worrying about like, oh, I've got to go and move hell and earth to get to what I want. You only have to change you. I'm just going to take away that big line there. Now, there's a problem though, right? We've got this thing in our subconscious mind and it's called a paradigm. Now, it can be, you can call it your program, you can call it your conditioning, you can call it the rules that you've been taught to live by, your beliefs, it's your habitual behavior, it's who you believe you are, it is whatever you want to call it. We call it paradigm in my world, you can call it whatever you like. So you have a paradigm. Now, this paradigm is going to be in harmony with the results that you're getting right now, because your paradigm has been in control of the vibration of your body up until today. Today you're going to learn how to change it. Now, paradigm also controls what you think about. Because if you think, oh, that's an A. If you think when you use your senses, like in that last picture, you look, it's in harmony with your paradigm, you feel the same thing, you take the action and you keep getting the same results, and it's just over and over and over again. Now this is what would happen. You create a goal, you try to implant it in there, you start a bit and paradigm goes, who the hell do you think you are? And it throws a few thoughts up there that are gonna maybe derail you. We don't go out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and go running, we stay in bed, come on. We don't do those sorts of things. So after a little while, it is probably going to talk you out of the very thing that you want. This goal here, how do I do this? Let's do that. This goal here will fade. You'll go back into listening to your senses. And in 12 months' time, you'll look at your results and you're like, why the hell is it so hard to change them? And it's because this little thing called a paradigm is in control. Now, let's play around with this some more. Let's go with an easy goal. I'm going to use Shay's goal because it's just such a cool story. So this energy just is. Now, Shay decided at the beginning of the year she's going to run a marathon. Or half marathon, sorry. And she's going to run it on the 12th of July. So just gone. She just ran it on the 12th of July. This is her goal. She decided, and it's a positive goal, right? Inside her subconscious mind were probably a few things. Like, we've got 2 young kids. Don't know if it's going to be pretty difficult. So there's that thought in there. There'll be some habits there of if it's raining, we'll stay in bed. There'll be some other thinking. Like you just think about it for yourself. There'll be the kids might wake up and then hubby's got to get to work and then it might slow me down. I'm going to need you sneakers and probably money could be a little bit blah, 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 blah. Like there's going to be some things in there that are going to throw up ideas into her mind. They all have the potential to. Now, you also have this thing called reason. It's a mental faculty. And it lives in your conscious mind. I'll show you what the rest of them are. You also have imagination. You have intuition. You have memory. You have will. And you have perception. There are probably more, but we're just going to focus on these. So when these throw an idea up, like, oh my God, Shay, we've got 2 little kids. How the hell are you going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get that going when most of the times they wake up when you wake up? She has the ability to reason with that, to go, well, if they wake up, I can just be prepared and blah, 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 have their breakfast out or whatever. She would come up with this thing. Guess what? That's growing this idea into here because it has the potential to make you feel a negative thought. She can also use her imagination and see herself as a runner, which is what she did. You can see yourself over and over again. You can always also use the memory because Shay used to be a runner before she had kids. So she would use her memory to see herself as a runner. If I've done it once before, I can do it again. Just haven't done it in this set of circumstances that I have right now. So you can cancel all of these out from letting you take your attention away from your goal by just using your mental faculties to implant this idea, marathon, into your subconscious mind because it's with emotion. So Shay wanted to feel empowered. She wanted to gain back some like, I want to feel successful again. Not that you didn't, Shay, don't take that. But like successful in the things that I choose to do and maybe have some freedom to choose what I want. There would be joy when you run over that finish line. So these are all the things that I'm guessing that Shay would have been going on in her head. These would have changed the vibration of her body so that she would take different actions. Now, these actions could be set an alarm so that I can get up before the kids do. Maybe set up hubby or somebody else to help out if I need them to. Buy some new running shoes. Register for the event. There'll be a whole host of other things. Buy some better hair ties, get a hat, get a jacket. All of these sorts of things would change the actions that she took so that she could get the result that she wanted. Sure, I'm sure there was days that it rained, but I'm sure Shay had a plan that on the days that it rains, I'll stay inside and I'll do some weight training, or I'll do some stretching, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. The thing is, you do not let the circumstances decide. Doesn't matter how much money's in the bank. It doesn't matter what people might say. It doesn't matter what is going on in the world and if the price of petrol or anything like that that's going on. You stay focused on your goal. You get the feeling. This is why you have to get your why. What do you want to feel? Why did you choose this? And you have to think about your goal and implant it into your subconscious mind so that it tells your body what to be doing, like what level of frequency you'll be vibrating on. And then because you'll be on the level that your goal is on, everything you need will be there. The money will be there, the people, the plots, the shoes, the people that will cheer you on, the glass of water, whatever it is that you need will be there. And this is where you've got to trust. It takes a bit of trusting to get to that end. Is this getting a bit clearer for everybody? Circumstances are the results of yesterday's thinking or your past thinking. If you keep getting involved with your circumstances, you are expecting them to continue. You are telling your subconscious mind, I expect to stay where I'm at. I expect the money to stay where it's at. I expect that I will not have the partner. If you let circumstances control you, you are letting your past thinking and your old paradigm control you. Now let's just think about this for a moment. You have the ability to think. You can originate thoughts. Circumstances will not change straight away, but you have the ability to use your perception and to reject thinking that is not going to serve you. So, like I said the other day, I went to Darwin. I wanted to buy this certain camera. I had just about not given up, but I thought, okay, I wonder how this is going to come, because every way I've tried, and it was the most simplest way that it turned up. So I want you to think about this. We have this little hashtag in my world. It's called fuck the how. Forget the how. Whatever works for you. You all know that I swear sometimes. You've got to let go of your way that it's going to come in. Because if the universe is this big, that little dot down there is your awareness of how it can come to you. That's all you've got, just that little dot. So if you haven't experienced how this can come, how would you know? You're just making shit up. I was really good at that, making shit up in my head. I think that this person's thinking that, so I can't do that. What a load of bullshit. Just get out there and do it. Just take action. Most people are not thinking about you. They're too wrapped up in themselves. And all they're doing is comparing themselves to you. And if you make them feel inadequate, then they will try and stop you. So your life is a blank sheet of paper. The only thing stopping you is, like Bob Proctor said, is a paradigm. Is a bunch of old conditions that are probably outdated. When you think about this thing, this is a telephone. You've probably all got one. Now, it has regular updates. I don't know if yours does, but mine normally does it in the middle of the night. And then I wake up and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Do you update you? Do you give yourself a regular update? I started with a coach 9.5 years ago, and I will never be without at least one. And there's been times that I've only had one, but I will never be without one. Why? Because I will sell myself on my own bullshit. And I'm really good at it. Are you? Would you think you'd go further if you had somebody to say, hey, no. What if you thought this way instead? Polly, what if you give that up? Like, I had my coaching call with one of my coaches today, and he's like, is that real? Is that the truth, really? Well, maybe not. Do you think you're making that up? I'm like, well, there's a little bit of evidence. He says, yeah, but you were taught to think that made that happen. You got perception, Polly. You can change that. and you've got that too. Now, if we talk about our subconscious mind and the paradigm that's in it, it was formed before you were 6 years old, because when you came into this world, you didn't have the ability to think. So guess what happened? Everything that went on around you went right in there. It's bloody hard to make money. To have a good relationship, you got to yell and scream. Children should be seen and not heard. Only the rich get richer. All of that. Anything that you read in the newspaper, anything that your teacher told you went in there and created you. Because guess what you are? You're a bunch of habits. You're a bunch of thoughts. You're a bunch of ideas. That's it. You were just a bunch of ideas. And if you change the idea of who you are, you naturally take different actions. You naturally get different results. So, if we come back to today, and we look at this goal, and we start to feel it, and we start to think about it, what do you think will happen? This goes out as energy. This goes out as energy. The vibration of your body is a different thing, and your vibe, like, so you got to think this is like energy. It's just energy. Your emotions are your feelings. So emotions are energy in motion. So, but your physical side of you, that's how you take action. So you're going to take different actions if you are thinking about your goal. So this is your thinking mind. This is your feeling mind. And you feel your goal. Guess what? You just naturally take different actions. You don't get involved in the things that you used to do. And you start to think about, okay, if this was my goal, if I'm going after this goal, what would some of the different actions that I take be? And I want you to think about that. What would some of the different actions that you take be? So when I started this business, those of you that didn't know, I was a little bit of a drinker. I would come home at 5 o'clock, cook dinner with a glass of wine, probably finish the rest of the bottle and fall asleep on the couch, wake up, go to bed maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, get back up and do it all over again. But on Sundays, we are not doing this week. That would be it. Monday would be good. Tuesday would be good. Wednesday would be great. Thursday, fuck it, let's might as well have a drink. And if it was a bad day on Tuesday, probably Tuesday would have been the start of it. That was mine. So what were some actions that I had to do? I had to get rid of the alcohol. Now, that by itself changed a whole lot of different things in my life. I turned off the TV. I stopped yelling. Oop. I started being the person that got the goal. I had focus. And of course, I got it. Yes, one of them was a money one. The other one, I don't know how to draw calm. We can do smiley face. I became the calm mum. But I had to take action. And this is my whole thing this week, is taking action. Now, you also have a brain. Did you know that? You know, I used to think that my mind was in my brain, but your mind is not. Your mind is in every cell of your body. This is why when you change your mind about something, your actions change, and because your actions are run by what's going on in your mind. Now, but you also have this other thing called a RAS, Reticular Activating System. Now, this is what your brain is hooked up to. And because you've got, like, if you think about all of those senses, there's so much information. Like your eyes take in 1 million bits of information in it, like in 1 second. But you're only conscious of 100,000 of them. And even that, we're only aware of 100,000. Even that, you wouldn't be conscious of them all. But that's what you can pick up. So you have this reticular activating system. And it says, or its job is to bring you evidence of your dominant thoughts. Now, let's have a think about that. Have you ever decided, I'm going to go and buy a car and it's this colour? When I was trying to talk my husband into buying this Kluger, of course I saw them everywhere, but he said no. So then, because he was like a Holden Commodore sort of man, I went and bought, we didn't have a Commodore dealer in Catherine, we only have Toyota. So I thought, fine, I'll get him a hotted up Toyota. So I got this ZR6, whatever it was, a Camry, but like hotted up one. And I ordered it in silver. How many of those bloody things do you think I saw? They were everywhere. I saw them everywhere. So I was like, I don't want a silver one anymore because I do like to stand out. So I rang the dealer and I said, hey, can we change the colour? And he said, yeah, you've got time. All right, I said, okay, let's get this and let's get in black. Because this RAS was filtering out everything that wasn't this Toyota Camry ZR6. Oh, it's an Orion, sorry. Now, if you're thinking about all this shit that's been happening in your life, guess what? Your RAS will filter out all the good stuff and just bring you more evidence of the shit stuff. Now, your goal is probably not shit stuff. Your goal is probably good stuff. But if it's not your dominant thought, you'll still see the same evidence out there. Now, you can research this. You can go and, like, I'm not talking bullshit here. This is a true thing. Your brain is a broadcaster and a receiver. So it broadcasts out a frequency and then it receives the same frequency that it put out back. And this is how it does it. So if you want, and you know, I'll tell you right now, what you want's probably right in front of you. And the way to get there is probably like maybe 2 or 3 steps you can see right in front of you. But this RAS is getting you to see what your dominant thoughts are. And if your dominant thoughts aren't your goal, you're not going to see it. So it's the same as being on the level of frequency of your goal. If your goal is here, but your dominant thoughts are down here, you're going to miss it. So you've got to get in alignment. Now, I think that's like a word that's really thrown around these days, and I'm not a big fan of it, but I just don't know. Another one is harmony. But if you align yourself with the person that gets your goal, and just start to think, what's in my life right now that I would not be worried about at my goal? Now, I've seen a few of your goals. Some of them are money goals. Now, I want you to think, when the mortgage payment comes out, what's the thinking? Is it a negative or a positive? If it's negative, can you use your perception and change it to a positive thought? Like, I'm so grateful that I get to live in this house and that I'm one day going to own it. And I'm just so grateful that I get to come home to this each day and I can do what I want with it, and talk yourself up this emotional scale. Wherever it is, there it is. What about if you have some negative results somewhere? Can you change your perception about it? Just think about it. Like, if you're at your goal and you've got the partner that you wanted, would you be thinking about not having them? I had to do this with my daughter the other week. She was, wow. And I'm like, hang on a moment, Hannah. You need to come from. And she's like, oh, you always say this. And I said, all right. If you've already got your goal, do you understand that concept? And she's like, well, sort of. And I said, okay. Do you think about getting your car? She said, what do you mean? I said, the car that you've got sitting in your driveway. Do you think about it and worry about how you're going to get it? She's like, no, of course not. I've already got it. Can you see that? She's like, oh, well, that makes a bit more sense. And I said, well, that's how easy this is. And you just got to go, will I be worrying about not having it when I've got it? No. What would I be thinking about? I'll be thinking about, oh, I wonder what we're going to cook for dinner for us tonight, or what we're going to get up to on the weekend, or whatever it is like that. You've got to come from, like you've already got it. Then you're right up there. Then you'll get the ideas. So what's up there is the ideas, the people, the plots, the money. Everything you need will be there. Now, what's the easiest way to get there? It's my favorite word. A decision. Now, you make a decision consciously first. And then you feel like you've already got it. Then that decision becomes a subconscious decision. It will then, there's that little sick person, change your actions. You can get rid of the worry. 92% of your worries are bullshit. And I'll give you evidence of this. Oh, thank you, Vrishnan. So when I stayed in Townsville, I stayed at this. Oh, see, thanks, Shay, and thank you for saying that. When I stayed in Townsville, I was in this Airbnb, and it had a roller door, and I have a push button code for our front door because our kids used to always lose the keys, and let's just get a push button thing so that way they always can just get in. I didn't have to drive home from work. So I stayed at this Airbnb, and one day I went to the shops. I was gone for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. Had a coffee, got a few groceries, came back, the roller door was up. I'm like, oh, whoopsie. Anyway, walked in the house, and I thought, oh well, nobody's here, that's awesome. Then I was laying in bed that night, and I thought, I wonder if that door is the same as my door. Now, this is day 3. I wonder if that door is the same as the door that I've got at home, if it just locks automatically. So I just sort of went and opened it and moved the handle on the outside. I'm like, oh, well, I've been here for 3 days. I haven't even locked the place. Whoopsie. Anyway, I was telling my mum about it, and she says, well, what the hell would you have done? And I said, oh, I don't know. I'll worry about that if it ever happened. Oh, come on, Paulie. You can't. What would the insurance be? What would the owner say? I'm like, Mum, we don't worry about stuff like that until it's happened. Otherwise, this RAS factor of mine will probably go and create something so that I've got the evidence to back up what I'm thinking about. And she's like, oh, anyway, she reckons I'm a bit crazy. So that's okay. But it never happened. I didn't have to worry about it. What are you worrying about that maybe you don't need to? That hasn't even happened yet. Like some people say, I'm so scared I'm going to get homeless. Well, you'll be scared about it. Guess what? Scared is a feeling. You have a negative feeling down here, you're probably going to do some actions that will make it happen. And then your RAS is going to go, here you go, look at this. Give you evidence. Your effect, so your evidence of life is the cause of your thinking. Is the effect of your thinking. Like your thinking is the cause. So you've got to be very careful about what you think about. And this is why gold cards come in really handy. Have them everywhere. I have post-it notes. I had some people come in on the weekend before the weekend, and they're like, God, these pair really have their goals everywhere, don't they? And I'm like, yeah. Because if we don't have them on post-it notes and on glass mirrors and stuff like that, I don't give two shits what you think of me. What are you going to say about me when I hit my goal? Like, this is what people think about, hey? Like, they're like, oh my God, what will people say if they walk in the house and see this and see that? Oh, they'll probably have something to say to other people and think about us and whatever. But when we hit our goal, I'm sure they're going to be like, I knew you could do it. So don't worry about them. They're probably not going after what they want anyway. Good work, Irene. So action is the most important thing. So in the Facebook group today, I want you to get out this page from the workbook. And this is how I want you to do it. You do it your way, but I just want to give you the idea here. I want you to tell us, like, draw your goal in here. Like, write your goal. There's a paradigm, which is like, I'd put it in a box. It'll keep you in a box if it remains in control. And then, so this is your thoughts, this is your feelings, this is the paradigm. Now, what actions, so, and you can name the vibration of your body. So you can say freedom, joy, love, whatever the feelings would be. And then 6 actions that immediately put you in the harmony of your goal. So, you know, when, let's just do this. I know it could be confusing you here, but let's just do this. I just want you to remember that your goal is something that you have fallen in love with. And that's a feeling, right? Remember that the energy that comes to you and through you just is. It is neither positive nor negative. It just is. And it will just give you whatever is your most dominant thinking. So paradigm lives in your subconscious mind. Your goal is in your conscious mind through repetition. Now, how do you get it in there? You can write it. You can see it. You can spend time visualizing it. You can meditate on it. You can draw pictures of it. You can do whatever it is that you want with it to get you into the feeling. But you have to take action. Without action, it just remains a thought and a feeling. And yes, it may change a few things, but without you acting differently, then chances are you'll find yourself back where you are right now. Or maybe a little bit worse, because, you know, emotional impacts normally always knock us down a few rungs of the ladder. So 6 action steps that immediately put you into the feeling and the vibration of your goal. Now, it could be that you declutter your house. It could be that you start sleeping on the one side of the bed, or some people will get a dating app. I know lots of people that have done it. Other people are like, no, I'm never doing that. That's okay. But you figure out because you've got to change. You cannot stay the same and expect different results. You've got to change. Now, these 6 action steps are what you have to take action on. Now, they can be daily ones, or each day you've got to come up with some new ones. Like one could be that you've got to go and get an ABN number to start your business. One could be that you must open a bank account. Once they're done, you're like, now what do I do? But you have to take daily action. Now, I would say if you had 6 action steps each day that you started taking action on, and then each day you renewed them for the next day and the next day, pretty soon you'd be well on your way to your goal. And you will get a battle. And I'll teach you a bit more about this tomorrow. But this paradigm, it's in harmony with your ego. And ego doesn't like change. So it's going to throw some thoughts up there for you. And it's going to maybe throw some obstacles in front of you here. to get you to stay the same. It might come through people. It might come through weather. It might come through all different types of circumstances. This is why your goal has to be something that you really love. Because if you don't love it, chances are you won't persist. Now, persistence is something you're going to have to employ big time to get you there. Persist through it. You know, I started going fishing with my husband in the Roper River 27 years ago. No, it was actually 25 years ago. 25 years ago. It's our 25th anniversary going out there this year. This year, a couple of weeks ago is when I caught my meter barra. So it's 25 years of going out there, persisting. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Yes, I love it, but I've always had that thought in my head. Now, the only way I wouldn't have got to it is if I stopped taking action, because I always wanted to catch it in that river. The only way I wouldn't have got it is if I stopped. Find a goal, fall in love with it, change your actions, and before long, you will have the results. So, your job now is to tell us what's in your conscious mind. Let's just turn this iPad off. What's in your conscious mind? What's in your subconscious mind? What are the actions that you're taking to stop you? And then maybe if you can make another copy or draw another one, show us then what does it need to be. Now you can go backwards too. So you can work backwards. So I'll just bring this up again. And this always works when I do in live person things. You can do it this way. So you can have your result. The actions that I need to take are such and such and such. The vibration of my body would be this. The feeling that I would need to have is here. And this is my goal. And you want your goal and your results to be the same thing. Remember, your action steps are so important. Now, I do have a list of 5 people that are getting prizes sent out today. I want to remind you that you have to email us your address. I am not going to go looking for it. I am not going to go and call you and send you messages and emails and anything. You have to email me. In the portal, there is an email address. And if you're looking for it, I can tell you it is a very good question. Maybe when Maggie puts it in there. Did I read your name? There it is in the challenge homework, just under today's video link. Now there's also some affirmations there and also a self-confidence formula. Some of you are lacking self-confidence. Maybe get into reading that for yourself a few times a week or something. I had to read that thing every day for 30 or 60 days. It's not a bad thing. And then there's just some affirmations to keep you on track, because you're going to have to, like, the ideas that are coming from your paradigm are going to be pretty strong. You've got to affirm the way that you're going. But anyway, these people are the winners for today that I will be sending out prizes to. So Kylie Jane, Adrian Rigby, Chris Floriani, I think that's how you say it. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Tracy Thomas and Lisa Horn. You send me email me your address, your physical address, so I can send you out your prizes. I hope this has helped you today. Like I said, I'm going to give you everything that I've got today, but you've got to do the rest. You've got to take the action. And once you do this and see the actions that you're going to have to take, it's going to be really easy for you. Then you just might need to kick up the bum to get going. Like, don't procrastinate, just go out and take action. So I want you to draw this stick person and then just take action on one of your action steps, just one. And then let us know how you went, how you felt taking that action and that as well. Like, if you can't do this now, we can't do it for you either. and we're here, and we want you to do it in this safe environment. So over in my Facebook group, draw this out. Tell us what you've got in your conscious mind, what's in your subconscious mind, what are the actions that are holding you back. Then maybe burn that one and just keep a hold of the good one that you know will be the start of getting you there. You may have to tweak some of your actions. You may not get it quite right. I think Shay, she was doing something and then she had to slow down her running and then speed it back up and slow it down and stuff like that, just to grow and to be the person. So nothing you do is wrong. As long as you keep your eye on the prize and you keep taking action towards it, you're a success. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's not when you get there. It's the journey along the way. All right. Love yous all. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you. Remember, tonight at 7 o'clock. I'll be there answering any questions that you have about this, any questions about your goal. I'll be there as long as you need me to be there, but we'll be there at 7 o'clock NT time. So that is 5 hours and 45 minutes. Yes, correct. 5 hours and 45 minutes time. We'll be in Zoom. The link will be in your portal. All right.